G'day guys, welcome to the first episode of Invest with Tim Allen. I am Tim Allen, your licensed buyer's agent and mortgage broker. The reason for this little video YouTube channel is a couple of things. One, there's a lot of fantastic information out there in the community through YouTube and everything like that. There's also a lot of bad or misinformation out there as well. Instead of sitting there and complaining about it, I thought as a licensed professional, what I'd do is I'd start a YouTube channel and give back to the community a little bit through the YouTube channel, giving some information and tips and pointers so people can see from a licensed professional what is truthful information and what is not so much truthful information. Also, to share a little bit about myself and about my wife and I's journey and where we are today, where we're planning to hopefully be in the future, and what sort of information we know and have to grow to that point. I also wanted to sort of talk about what I would have loved to have got when I was an 18-year-old buying my first rental property back in 2003, August 2003 to be precise. And I would have loved to have had a buyer's agent and even furthermore, a mortgage broker that I would have been working with rather than just directly with the bank that understood the goals that I was looking for at that point in time, that helped me work out the right property and the plan that would sort of evolve around property. And then, invite me along that journey to go and inspect the properties, learn everything like that. And then when we got to that important part, which would be the negotiation, do that negotiation for me, because as an 18-year-old kid, no one took you seriously or anything like that. And on the flip side of that, you don't know what you don't know. And in those sort of environments, it's quite easily for the sales agent to take advantage of that situation and start asking a lot of those questions and really controlling the conversation. At the end of the day, it's the person asking the questions who controls the negotiation process and everything like that. So, one little tip that I'll give everybody out there in the very first episode is if you can answer the questions the agent's asking you with a question, that means that you're going to be a little bit more in control with the sales process. So, for instance, if the sales agent says to you, have you got your finance pre-approved? You can always answer back with, has the owner had a contract fall over on finance? And ask that question back. By doing that, you're going to take control over the negotiation of the process of that property, and you're going to be a little bit stronger when you come along to involve. 4 would have been to sit down with those professionals and review my home loan, review my property portfolio, review my strategy and my goals, and see if they're still the same as what they were when I was 18, or if they needed to be updated and evolved as life progresses through time. And then execute on that next purchase of the property. And because I wasn't able to find that information back when I was an 18-year-old, it did 2 things. One, it sent me down a path of learning and wanting to understand property a lot better. And 2, it made me realize that property is a bit like Monopoly. It's a game. Okay? To understand the game, you need to understand finance. If you can understand how to structure your debt, structure your lending, get the maximum amount of lending that you can get, potentially use different lenders to give you more money so you've got different policy working towards your benefit rather than the bank's, is a better way of doing things. So as a mortgage broker, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've got a fantastic understanding of that realm, and I understand that property investing and property in general is a game of finance. The better you get your game of finance sorted, the easier the game of property is going to be moving forward. The next thing is asset selection. Looking for that good quality asset that's going to suit your needs, hopefully now and into the future. Buying and selling property is quite expensive. So if you're looking at transacting property, it it can cost you around about that sort of 5% mark if it's an owner-occupier, and that's not factoring in any sort of capital gains. When you sort of factor in your purchasing cost of that property originally, which would have been around about that sort of 2% mark in relation to stamp duty, okay, depending on what state, etc., etc. But those purchasing costs are going to work out to being around about that 2 to 3%. And then the selling costs are going to work out between 2 and 3%, depending on what agent you use, what your marketing strategy is, etc., etc. So best case scenario, you're looking at, transacting that property at costing you 4% of the value if you're looking at selling it. Best case scenario, you're looking at worst case scenario, not best. Best is 4, worst is 6, okay? 6% is a lot of money. Is it a better strategy to hold that property for a little bit longer? Is there a way of working it into your plan for the bigger picture? That's those questions within that sort of understanding and developing that plan that you need to be sort of looking into and asking. And a licensed professional like myself or other buyers agents out there and mortgage brokers on the finance side of things can help you understand those bits and pieces, okay? The next thing is evaluating that property. Is it a good quality asset? Is it a high density unit in the middle of the city? If it is, it's potentially not going to appreciate as well as a property where you're on a 2-acre block of land about 40 minutes away from the city. That's going to appreciate a lot better in value than that unit in the middle of the city, okay? So it's understanding those different types of assets and what those different types of assets play within our property portfolio. Reviewing your property portfolio. Have you had the quantity surveyor come out and do a depreciation schedule on your house? Have you done renovations on that property since you bought it and got that depreciation schedule? If that's the case, then you should be having an updated depreciation schedule done and supplying those receipts that you did from the renovations of that property. When was the last time you had a bit of a chat to your accountant? Is there a better structure that you can potentially implement in to protect that asset moving forward? Have you had a conversation with your mortgage broker? And is your, finance rates as competitive as it can be? It might be as simple as calling your mortgage broker, having a chat with the bank, and you might get, 10, 20, 30 points knocked off your home loan, which is better in your pocket than the bank's pocket, okay? So all those little bits and pieces of reviewing your property portfolio, reviewing your loans, reviewing your quantity surveying is really, really important. If there's been a huge amount of capital appreciation, so if over the last little period we've seen a huge amount of property price uplift, so if you bought that first property in your property strategy back in 2019, now that we're in 2023, are you able to look at potentially doing property number 2 because of the capital appreciation that's rolled through over the last couple of years? Having those reviews and having those conversations to potentially execute a little bit earlier on your next part of your strategy is a way of getting ahead and getting to that point. So the whole point of this YouTube channel is to share a whole heap of information and knowledge that I've gained over the last 20 years of being a property investor and the last decade of being a mortgage broker and the last 12 months as being a fully licensed buyer's agent. And prior to that, for the last sort of 3-4 years back in 2020, I started seeing how hard it was and how difficult it was for my clients to buy property. So I would unofficially give them suggestions over a phone call of how to engage with the real estate agent, how to talk to the agent at the open homes, how to put forward their offer to the agent, how to sort of put their best foot forward to secure that property for themselves. So I was having those conversations with them, letting them know some tips and points and suggestions and everything like that, completely free of charge, because I wasn't licensed. Now I am fully licensed. I am fully insured. I do give this stuff, but I do charge for this. But the way that I structure my business and everything like that, is I offer a discount to people through my mortgage brokering service. So if you do your finance through my finance brokering arm, so Moreton Bay Finance Broker, then the buyer's agent side of the business gives you a little bit of a discount. For those terms and conditions in regards to the discount, have a look at the website, which is linked below, and reach out and have a chat if you need a hand. But the whole point of this video is to sort of give you guys those suggestions, give you guys these recommendations, come along my journey, explain everything that's going on. And if you need a little bit of extra help, you can reach out and have that conversation. If you get some fantastic tips and pointers from the video, chuck it a like and, take that information and do it yourself, okay? At the end of the day, I'm a licensed professional wanting to share my knowledge so people can follow and learn from that and realize that there's questions out there they may not know. Down the track, I am going to have other licensed professionals on here. I'm going to have my team from Moreton Bay Finance Broker, Lisa Ryan, joining me in later episodes. I've got Uni, my accountant, who's going to join me in later episodes, which you'll see. I've got a financial planner, Carl, for Go for Wealth, who I'm hoping to get on and everything like that. We've got to just work out a few more regulatory requirements before he potentially appears on the channel and has a bit of a chat to people and gives some general information in his scope of works. So stay tuned, watch these coming videos, pick out the nuggets of gold, use them in your journey, work out what your plan is, and hopefully together we can all become financially free. Thank you for this episode. Appreciate it. Bye.